Hello everybody. In this video we are going to talk all about trend. How to identify trend. We're going to talk about the trend indicator that you see here on the bottom, which I think you've already seen at this point. But let's go ahead and get started. So when I think of trend, I'm thinking about strictly based on market structure. Now there's other ways to identify trend. Some people use a moving average. However, I have found that moving averages are kind of delayed, and that same delay you can see in market structure, and I'll show you some examples. I'm going to show you the pros and the cons of using market structure to determine trend, and how aggressive you may want to be in changing trend. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and start up here at this zone, and then we're just going to walk our way from the left of this chart to the right. So up here, you can see that the trend is actually bearish. So why would it be bearish when all we see here are green market structure zones? Well, that is because of this red zone up here. So this is one of, I'm gonna say this just in full transparency, but this is actually one of the negatives of using aggressive market structure to determine trend. You can see what's happening. Trend is based on whatever the last zone is to print. So what I mean by that is, you can see back here we were bullish, and the trend is going to remain bullish until the last green zone is taken out. Then once that zone is taken out, which happens right here, if there is a sell zone, then the trend is going to go to bearish. If there is no sell zone and there is no buy zone, the trend is going to go to neutral, which is what you actually see down here. And this is coming from the weekly. And then this trend will remain bearish until one of two things happens. Either this sell zone is taken out, or a new sell zone prints, and then the last sell zone is taken out. Now here in this example, it actually had the trend correct. Honestly, after this zone had printed, you can see taking any longs was very challenging, right? So it would have kept you out of anything in this zone, anything in this zone, and it actually ends up working out in an ideal way because you have sell zones that print down here, and then they're taken out right here. Actually right here. So we're going to miss, if we're a trend trader, we're going to miss any trades out of this zone, but we're going to pick them up here. And this is a daily chart, or it's a 1,440 minute chart. This is a nice move, especially if you're going to go down to a 60-minute time frame to take some trades. Okay, so let's continue. So we are now in a bull trend. This is our last buy zone to print, so we're going to continue in a bull trend until this zone gets taken out, in which case it happens here. And you can see we don't have a sell zone. Because we don't have a sell zone, we are now neutral until we either get a new buy zone or we have a new sell zone. We end up getting a new sell zone here, and the trend goes bearish. We go sideways, and you can see what happens. Taking any longs out of this zone would not have been a good thing. Price continues lower. It then takes out the sell zone. We do not have a buy zone, and then we go neutral, and then we go bullish here, and you can see what happens. So this has actually worked out really well. The biggest nuance that I want to tell you guys about is when you have a situation like this, if we had not had fresh sell zones down here, we would have had a bear trend throughout this entire period, which honestly wouldn't have bothered me, because you can see it was really hard to take longs unless you caught it down here. So we'll go ahead and finish up this chart just because we were close to being done anyway. So here's where we left off. Sorry, I was kind of jumped all over the place there for a second. We have a new buy zone. We're still bullish. You can see bullish is the direction to go. We have a sell zone print here. However, I'm not going to worry about it because we are still in a bull trend, and that is the direction to trade. We continue in a bull trend, and you can see how well that actually ends up working out, right? So this is how I determine market structure. You can use it on any time frame, any chart. What you see down here is the market structure trend indicator. I have it applied 2 times. The nice thing about this indicator is I can pull in another time frame. So that saves me from having to have multiple charts open and always having to analyze trend. You can see here I have this custom time frame switch. I can click that and I can choose any type of time frame that I want. And in this case, what I've done is I have a weekly on the bottom, and on the top, if you don't have this box checked, it just uses the time frame on your chart. So this is a daily. Okay, that's all about trend. I'll see you in the next video.